The transport ship Endless Horizon drifted through the void between star systems, its hull scarred by decades of use. In its cargo bay, among crates of supplies destined for the outer colonies, Marisolin sat cross-legged on the cold metal floor, carefully wrapping a makeshift bandage around a small, trembling creature. Krev was barely the size of a terrier, though his species, the Vakari, would grow to become apex predators standing 8 feet tall, with razor-sharp claws and teeth designed to tear through reinforced armor. But right now, he was just a cub, his mottled gray fur matted with dried blood, his amber eyes wide with fear and pain. "Easy," Myra whispered, her voice soft despite the ache in her own ribs from the fight that had saved him. "I'm almost done," the cub whimpered, a sound that seemed impossible from a creature destined to become one of the galaxy's most feared hunters. His left foreleg had been broken when the smugglers threw him against the cage bars, frustrated that he wouldn't perform tricks for their entertainment. Myra had been working in the ship's lower decks when she heard the sounds, snarls, yelps, and cruel laughter. She'd found 3 Vorlaxian smugglers tormenting the cub they'd stolen from a colony raid. What happened next was a blur of movement she barely remembered, her fist connecting with scaled faces, her stolen shock baton crackling with energy, her body moving with a violence that surprised even her. Now 2 of those smugglers were locked in a storage container, and the third was nursing a broken jaw in the medical bay, too afraid to report what a single human woman had done to them. "Why?" Krev asked suddenly, his voice a scratchy whisper in Galactic Common. He'd been silent since she'd freed him, and Mera looked up in surprise. Young Vakari could speak, but rarely did to other species. "Why what?" she asked, securing the splint with careful precision. "Why are you kind?" The cub's eyes fixed on her with an intensity that belied his size. "You are prey species, soft, weak, we ... We would eat you." Myra paused, her hands stilling on the bandage. The question hung in the recycled air of the cargo bay. Around them, the ship hummed its eternal song, indifferent to the strange scene unfolding within its belly. She thought of Earth, that blue marble she'd left behind 15 years ago. She thought of the colony orphanage on Kepler 442b, where she'd grown up, a place of harsh lights and harsher words, where kindness was a currency no one could afford. She remembered cold nights when she was Krev's age, maybe younger, huddled in corners while the older children took what little she had. She remembered hunger. She remembered fear. She remembered the day she aged out of the system, thrust into the galaxy with nothing but a ticket off-world and the clothes on her back. She remembered sleeping in station corridors, working jobs that paid barely enough to keep her alive, learning that the universe was vast and cold and utterly indifferent to suffering. "Because no one was to me," Mera said finally, meeting Krev's eyes. The cub tilted his head, confusion rippling across his juvenile features. "I do not understand." Myra finished tying off the bandage and sat back, wiping her hands on her already stained work pants. "When I was younger than you, no one was kind to me. I was alone, scared, hurt." She gestured to his splinted leg. "Like you are now. Then why—" "Because I remember what it felt like," she interrupted, her voice carrying a weight that made even the predator cub fall silent. "I remember thinking that if just one person had shown me kindness, had told me I mattered, had helped me when I was broken, ... maybe I wouldn't have spent so many years believing I deserved the pain." Krev's ears folded back against his skull, a gesture of submission rare among his kind. "But I am Vakari. In 3 cycles, I will be strong enough to kill you without thinking." "Maybe," Myra acknowledged with a sad smile. "But right now, you're a scared kid with a broken leg, far from home, and you need help. That's all that matters. That is—" "Foolish," Krev said, but there was uncertainty in his voice. "Weak." Myra laughed a short, bitter sound. "You know what the other species say about humans? They say we're crazy. They say we pack bond with anything. They say we're too emotional, too irrational, too kind to species that would kill us without hesitation." She leaned forward, her dark eyes intense. "And they're right. We are all those things. But you want to know what else we are?" Krev waited silent. "We're survivors. Every single one of us carries scars, visible or not. We come from a death world where everything, the weather, the predators, the diseases, even the plants tried to kill us. We clawed our way up from caves to starships, not because we were the strongest or the fastest, but because we were stubborn, because we refused to give up. Because we learned that our greatest strength wasn't our bodies, it was our ability to choose. Choose what? The cub asked. Choose to be better than our circumstances. Choose to break cycles instead of perpetuating them. Myra reached out slowly, giving Krev time to pull away. When he didn't, she gently scratched behind his ear, the way she'd seen adult Vakari do with their young. I can't change what happened to me. But I can change what happens to you right now, in this moment. I can choose kindness even when the universe has shown me none. That is ... double quotes. Krev struggled for words, his young mind wrestling with concepts his species rarely encountered. That is not logical. No, Mara agreed, pulling her hand back. It's not. It's human. They sat in silence for a long moment, the woman and the predator cub, two beings who by all accounts should have been enemies. The ship's intercom crackled to life, announcing their approach to Sirius Station, where Mara had already arranged for Krev to be transferred to a Vakari family that had lost their own cub to the same raiders. Myra Solin, Krev said, testing her name with his sharp teeth. When I am grown, I will remember this. I hope you do, she replied, standing and offering him a hand to help him up. And when you're big and strong and terrifying, I hope you remember that strength isn't just about what you can destroy. Real strength is choosing not to, even when you could. Real strength is being kind to those who can't fight back. The cub took her hand with his uninjured paw, his claws carefully retracted. I will remember, he promised. And perhaps I will choose too. Myra smiled, a real smile this time, one that reached her tired eyes. Then maybe the universe will be a little less cold. One choice at a time. As they walked together toward the docking bay, the human woman and the predator cub, neither alone anymore, the endless horizon completed its journey through the dark. And in its cargo hold, a small light had been kindled, the kind that starts with a single act of kindness and spreads, slowly but inevitably, across the stars. Because that's what humans do. They survive, they endure. And against all logic, against all odds, they choose to be kind, even when no one was kind to them. Especially then,